हेलो फ्रेंड्स, स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे इस वीडियो में। दिस इज द फोर्थ वीडियो ऑफ फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट। आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ you those who have not attended our earlier videos, please view those videos, learn from those videos and then come to this fourth video. This is something which we have covered in our earlier videos. So today we are going to discuss scope of financial management. Point number one is financial planning. Now when we talk about financial planning, there are two important things to be considered. One is capital budget and second is cash budget. Raising finance is very important so far the financial management is concerned. A financial manager has to think about short-term and long-term sources of finance according to the need of business. Proper utilization of funds. Now proper utilization of funds is very important. For the profit maximization, proper utilization of funds becomes important. Maximization of profit depends upon proper utilization of funds. Distribution of earnings. There are basically three things to be considered. How much amount is to be kept as reserve, how much amount is to be distributed as dividend, and how much amount is to be reinvested in business as retained earnings. Establishing financial policy. A financial manager has to establish financial policy as well as this policy is communicated in various departments of company. Financial control. Whether the financial activities are according to the plan and policies or not, if there are any variances, the corrective steps are to be taken. Finance function. There is a traditional approach, the extensive approach, it is also called two-wide approach, and the third one is the modern approach, which is normally called as practical approach. The traditional approach. So till year 1950 this approach was considered. It has a narrow interpretation. Why there is narrow interpretation? Because it is limited to raising of funds only. So this approach is not giving any idea about utilization of funds. It gives idea about raising of funds only. Episodic view neglects day-to-day problems. Now what is episodic view? There are some major events in company and this approach focuses on those big or major events in the company. This approach neglects the day-to-day problems. There are various business operations which are going on day-to-day basis, and from those operations various problems are also connected with those operations. So somewhere the traditional approach fails to give an idea about solution of those day-to-day problems. Ignores the importance of working capital. Now what is working capital? Working capital is equal to current assets minus current liability, which is also called net current assets. Ignores the importance of working capital. The traditional approach somewhere ignores the importance of working capital. As you can see, it neglects the day-to-day problems as well as ignores the importance of working capital. Second one, extensive or two-wide approach. It covers all the transactions connected with cash. The whole field of business management is covered by financial management. अब वैसे देखा जाए तो फिर सारी चीज़ें कैश में ही हैं. क्रेडिट सेल्स इज ऑल्सो फाइनली पेड इन कैश. आप पहले तो क्रेडिट देते हो बट उसके बाद फाइनली यू रिसीव कैश फॉर योर क्रेडिट ट्रांजेक्शन्स। तो ऐसे देखा जाए तो सारे के सारे ट्रांजेक्शन्स आप कैश में ही करते हो। परचेज, प्रोडक्शन एंड सेल्स विल बी इंक्लूडेड इनटू फिनेंस फंक्शन, not practical and has to be discarded. It's a two-wide approach, not practical and it has to be discarded. Modern approach. So after year 1950, this approach is considered. It's a practical approach, raising funds and effective utilization both. Now we have to understand not only raising funds, which we have observed in traditional approach, but also effective utilization is also important over here. So not only raising money, but making effective utilization of this money, making effective utilization of funds is also considered over here. Procurement of funds at minimum cost. So you have to raise the funds, but you have to raise the funds at मिनिमम कॉस्ट। आपको कम से कम खर्चा करना है बिजनेस में पैसा लाने के लिए। इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ फंड्स इन मोस्ट प्रॉफिटेबल स्कीम। मॉडर्न अप्रोच गिव्स एन आइडिया अबाउट इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ फंड्स इन मोस्ट प्रॉफिटेबल स्कीम। इनकम मैनेजमेंट, रिटेन अर्निंग्स एंड डिविडेंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी अंडरस्टूड। financing, investment and dividend decision. So modern approach gives idea about these activities also. Now we'll understand an answer of very important question which may be asked in examination. Difference between traditional and modern approach. So traditional approach, only raising funds, effective utilization of funds is ignored. That we already understood, so it will be little easy for you to understand the difference between traditional and modern approach. It's a very important question, friends. Raising funds as well as effective utilization. ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच है वो सिर्फ यही बताता है कि कैसे आपको फंड्स रेज करने हैं. मॉडर्न अप्रोच जो है वो आपको ये तो बताता है कि फंड्स को कैसे रेज करने हैं, बट उसके साथ साथ उसका कैसे अच्छी तरीके से उपयोग करना है वो भी हमें मॉडर्न अप्रोच समझाता है. ओनली जॉइंट स्टॉक कंपनीज एंड नॉन कॉर्पोरेट फर्म्स आर इग्नोर्ड. ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच है वो ज़्यादा फोकस करता है जॉइंट स्टॉक कंपनीज के ऊपर, बट मॉडर्न अप्रोच है सजेस्ट्स फॉर ऑल टाइप्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस लाइक सोल ट्रेडर, पार्टनरशिप फर्म्स, cooperatives and companies. So not only for companies, modern approach is for every type of organization. Considers source of long term finance only. ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच है वो लॉन्ग टर्म फिनेंस के बारे में ही सोचता है. मॉडर्न अप्रोच गिव्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू लॉन्ग टर्म फिनेंस एंड वर्किंग कैपिटल. इग्नोर्स इनसाइडर्स ऑफ बिजनेस. मॉडर्न अप्रोच कंसिडर्स बोथ इनसाइडर्स एंड आउटसाइडर्स. एपिसोडिक व्यू जैसा हमने आगे देखा, इन मेजर इवेंट्स ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच गिव्स आइडिया अबाउट मेजर इवेंट्स ऑफ कंपनी और बिजनेस यूनिट, वेयरएज मॉडर्न अप्रोच कंसिडर्स मेजर इवेंट्स एज वेल एज रूटीन ऑपरेशंस. जो डे टू डे ऑपरेशंस होते हैं उसमें जो प्रॉब्लम्स निकलते हैं उसके ऊपर भी मॉडर्न अप्रोच फोकस करता है. ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच नैरो अप्रोच है, whereas modern approach is a practical approach.